You are now listening to a 302 Birds podcast experience, proudly powered by Tick Pick, Cutbet, El Diablo Burritos, Nick's Pizza, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street.
My God, I am not about this offensive and this defensive coordinator. Welcome to a special edition. I know KJ's not here with me. He had to tap out. He had a family thing going on. No worries. We'll get him on here soon. But it is a special edition of Jack and Dalton in the morning. Grab your coffee. Say what's up because we're breaking down this new offensive defensive coordinator situation. Mr. Jack Doordan, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking, brother. And I have to disagree with you completely because anything's better than fucking Sean Desai and what's his face, Brian Johnson.
DJ.
I'm excited to see what these coordinators can do for us.
I'm a little bit skeptical personally, and I think you're right. Anything's got to be better than what we had last year. I love that take. But it's like almost like the old parable of porridge, right? Is it too cold? Is it too hot? Is it just right? And that's kind of what I'm a little bit afraid of. I think Kellen Moore, frankly, is too young. And I think Vic Fangio is, frankly, too old at 65. I mean, diving right into Vic Fangio first, I mean, we'll just start with the defensive coordinator. Does Gramps still got it? I mean, I don't know. The dude's 65. Vic Mick. That's a pretty badass name. You know, when I was doing my research, Vic Mick, he's from Scranton. I think he did grow up an Eagles fan, or his family's got it. You're going to tell me that these people are from Scranton and they didn't celebrate the Super Bowl parade? I do like that factor. What I don't like, I'm afraid that this guy's going to bring too much discipline personally. Like almost like a helicopter coordinator. Do you know what I mean by that? Like he's going to be too much. And I think players like Slay are going to get turned off by that. How are you feeling about Fangio?
I mean, I don't give a rat's ass if he's too, militaristic. We need discipline. We saw discipline not happen at all last season. We literally, that defense did nothing, like towards the end of the season, did nothing great. And they kind of gave up. If you watch the Buccaneers game, I forget who scored, but we just gave up on tackles and we missed a tackle and then we gave up. Like the team didn't seem like they cared at all. Whether I don't know that, something happened in the locker room or what, but like we need some kind of discipline because we need somebody. I get he's been doing this for years, and I think having a coordinator who's been doing in the game for longer than 5-10 years, I think is a good pickup because we need that. We need a veteran coordinator. And I think we're going to see night and day difference from, a young buck like Sean Desai and what's his name? Guy from who was the interim DC? Patricia. So I think this is a good pickup because, like I said, we need that discipline. We didn't have it at all last year. I felt like the defense just walked all over the coaches, the coordinators. So I think this is a great addition to the team. And I mean, he was the Dolphins defense coordinator last year. And I mean, they're a pretty good defense. And I think he'll kind of express the good side of our defense that we know as Eagles fans.
I hope you're right. Like that's where my head's at, right? Like this is a take that I hope that this is a Dalton take that ages like milk, right? This is the take I want to be wrong on because I mean, 65 years old. My biggest fear is I do think he brings the discipline, but like I said, back to the helicopter point, I'm worried that somebody like this is going to bring too much discipline, and it's almost like I said, the old parable of the porridge. Is it just right or not? And back to that, I'm almost afraid that we had somebody too young this year. This guy's going to be too old, and I think Slay's going to clown somebody. If they're too old, I really think that the defense is going to be lost quicker than if they're younger, because at least if they're younger, they're a little bit more aware of what's going on. Like, I mean, this guy was brought in 2 years ago, you see on the graphic, to be a consultant before the Super Bowl for the Eagles. How'd that work out? I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes and the best offense. So I think, 38 points in the Super Bowl is not a bad thing. I'm just saying I'm a little bit afraid that he's going to lose the locker room because he's so old and unrelatable is, I guess, what I'm trying to say.
Granted, we took the L in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, but we saw that defense go against a really good Kansas City Chiefs offense, and we only lost by 3 touchdowns or by 3 points.
Yep,
So
3 points.
I'm excited to see what he can do for us as a team, and I know he is an Eagles fan. He's, like you said, grew up in Scranton, so definitely excited to see what he can do for us.
Conrad, what's going on? Thank you for joining us in the morning. Salud. Get your coffee if you're hanging out. But I like the optimism, Jack. I'll say that. I think, on this show, either you or I will always bring a personal positivity to the show. We try to. And I'm glad that it's you today because it's damn well not going to be me. The last thing I'll say about it, it's not 2005 anymore, right? I hear your point. I think you're 100% right. Dennis C. in here, and he knows. It's not 2005 anymore. As much as we may want like a Jim Johnson, players want somebody that they can respect, but at the same time that they feel like understands them. And I mean, Jesus Christ, look at the look on this guy's face, right? Like he looks so out of it. It's not even funny. I pray once again that this is a take that ages like milk by Dalton. I hope I'm wrong on it, but I'm a little bit nervous personally. So we'll see. But as far as offense goes, I mean, I personally wanted Eric Bieniemy. How are you feeling about the whole Kellen Moore hire, former Dallas Cowboy?
Look, he had a really good offense, and as much as we hate the Cowboys, that Cowboys offense is dominant. He worked with Zeke Elliott. He worked with Tony Pollard. He worked with Dak Prescott. Like, he worked with all these weapons on offense. I'm giving it to him. That I'm like, I know you can do the same for us. 35, yeah, young. I feel like the what's the word? The theme of this podcast is age. I don't think age is that big of an issue being a coordinator. As long as you have some experience under your belt, you should be fine. And I think with Brian Johnson, who was a quarterback's coach, his first year being offense coordinator, he ran the same 4 plays literally every game. He threw 4 verticals, a halfback draw, a screen, or a QB draw. So I think with Kellen Moore, I think there's a lot more depth to his play calling that I think we're gonna really appreciate this pickup. I mean, again, like I said, he worked with the Cowboys. I know we hate the Cowboys, but the offenses he worked with, holy shit, they were dominant. Granted, they didn't go far, but they put up points. They had a great scheme, and I definitely think, out of all people, I guess I would like Eric Bieniemy, but I don't. Did he even interview?
No, he didn't even interview. I mean, I think he's kind of stuck right now with the Commanders, right? Like
Well,
he's doing good, but he's not going to go anywhere, right? Like he's doing good work.
Well, I'm not sure if the Commanders did they hire a new head coach or no?
Not yet. Maybe they did. I think that they still have held off.
So maybe Eric Bieniemy is the new head coach. Who knows?
That would be a great move.
I mean, Eric Bieniemy was great in KC, and I mean, granted, he comes to the Commanders, and there's not many weapons. You have Terry McLaurin, you have Brian Johnson Jr. Compared to the Chiefs, he didn't really have much to work with. So,
How do you feel though about like what he did though with that offense? Because that's what I have written down. Like he had Mahomes, Kelce, and Hill at the top of their game, right?
Yeah.
And somebody like that coming in, I really think Howie and Lurie should have got aggressive and made a push for him. Like, hey, this guy comes in and he has all of these toys to play with that Brian Johnson couldn't do anything with. AJ Brown, like this is probably Devontae Smith and AJ Brown's last year, both on the team together. So it's almost like do or die time. And I don't know. I just at least would have made a push to interview Bieniemy because you don't know if he feels trapped like with the Commanders. Like they freaking suck. Like,
yeah,
you're right. Like they're playing decent ball, but who's that because of? You know what I mean? And I think that even furthers the point that you should go after him. But leave it up to the Eagles organization. You know that they love their freaking puppets, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think with Eric Bieniemy, like you said, to the offense, he kind of turn around. I mean, Sam Howell had multiple. What is that? Clown? Yeah. You think Sirianni's a clown?
Puppet. It's Pinocchio. I saw
Oh
this one
yeah, yeah.
online the other day and I love it. He's just the
Yeah, no,
head
I like
coach, right?
yeah, he's just a figure face. Everyone's pulling his strings behind the scenes. But Sam Howell had multiple games where he would go over 300 yards passing. So I definitely think that would have been a good hire to look into. But I'm happy with Kellen Moore for sure.
All right. Well, like once again, like I said earlier in the show, I'm glad that makes one of us because I'm a little bit nervous. I mean, this year with the Chargers was rough, 5-12, but they did have injuries. I'll give him that. But when you look at what Keenan Allen did, that's what I kind of focused in on that offense. That was beautiful. He had his best season since 2017 and arguably his second best season of his career. The man had this season over 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. His best season going back to 2017 was almost 1,400 yards, 7 yards shy, and 6 tutties. So, I mean, he has wide receivers, and he's proven to be, a wide receivers offensive coordinator. He knows how to get the ball in guys' hands in screens, and it's almost like that part of it I do like because it's you have Devontae Smith in a critical time. You have A.J. Brown in a critical time. You have Dallas Goedert in a critical time. This is going to probably be the most playmakers that Jalen Hurts, if he's what he's supposed to be, will ever have in his career surrounded around them. Because at some point, you're going to have to give him that fat-ass QB contract that you want to give him, and that's going to take up everything with the way that the NFL goes. So it's do or die time right now for our Philadelphia Eagles, and that's why, I don't know. I think, like I said, A.J. Brown and Smitty have got to be excited about this, like, for their stats, for knowing that they were going to get the ball in this offense. But I think if you went in that locker room and you asked anybody about their stats this season, they would look at you and go, dude, I don't care about my stats. It doesn't matter to me. I want to win a Super Bowl. So my hope is that Kellen Moore is just a great enough offensive coordinator to do similar what Shane Steichen did last year. Get this offense able to put up 28 to 35 points consistently every game, and then let the defense do the rest of the work. My question to you, Jack, before we wrap up here, while I'm thinking about it, how does this offensive coordinator signing impact somebody like Jason Kelce coming back to the team? How do you think that this impacts his decision? Is this a positive or a negative, do you think, in his mindset?
I mean, I think it would be a positive because it kind of sucks that whether or not he retires or not, he may come back for another year. But like the fact that they went to a different coordinator that could be a great coordinator and have that drive to make it to the Super Bowl, that would piss me off a little bit. But at the same time, it's like it's not like you can't really choose, a coordinator, out of the blue. So I think this would be. I hope this puts a fire in Jason Kelce's belly, to get us to come back as our center for one last year, make one last run. I'm curious to see when he comes out. It may be in the summertime. It's like, yeah, I'm coming back one more year and then take a shot with Howie. But I think with these new signings, coordinators, I think it would definitely be a positive impact on Jason Kelce for sure.
I hope you're right. Once again, I mean, I think I don't know personally, so I don't want to speak on it, but I was interested to hear what your perspective was. And I think you're right too. I mean, I don't think he's a bad coordinator by any means. I'm just worried that this may not be the correct puzzle piece. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that this take ages like milk. But that's pretty much all we got for you guys today. I want to thank you guys for tuning into this quick edition of Jack and Dalt in the morning talking sports. Salute for that coffee. Thanks for joining me, man. And like I said, please subscribe, like, comment. If you're watching on Facebook, drop a follow. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere where you can find us, we're there. Drop a follow, give us a review. It really means a lot because we're going to try to do this more often for you guys, especially as we approach the offseason with free agency upcoming and a lot more other variables for our Philadelphia Eagles. My name's Dalton Holland. I'm from 302 Birds, joined by my colleague, my brother Jack Doordan from 302 Birds. We appreciate you guys joining us today. And that's all I got, man, if you want to go ahead and do the honors.
For sure. Thank you for everyone who came out Sunday morning and listened to me and Dalton chalk it up. But without further ado, hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Hit that motherfucking outro.
Season 6 premiere.
Well, fuck that Madden. I beat him in the butt.
Until 2 hours from now.